What up, what up? Welcome on in to Inside Baylor Sports, the official daily podcast of Baylor Athletics. On today's show, we recap women's golf impressive showing in the NCAA Regionals as they punch their ticket to the NCAA Championships. Plus, we preview baseball series versus Oklahoma starting today. Don't forget, you can catch Inside Baylor Sports every weekday. You can also watch the video version for free over at BaylorPlus.com and on the Baylor Athletics YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, rate, and review the pod, and follow Baylor Plus today on X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. It's the official content network of Baylor Athletics. Think Netflix for your Baylor Bears. Download the app on your mobile device and sign up for your free 7-day trial today at BaylorPlus.com. It's Friday, May 10th, 2024. Justin Hoff alongside the man, the myth, the legend, the Baylor Bear Insider, Jerry Hill. Fresh haircut, looking good.
Yeah, I've got to do that every once in a while just to make, it's hard to improve on perfection, but I try to do a little bit just to kind of, spice it up a little bit. So, yeah, I went to see my stylist, and she did a great job.
Stylist. That's funny that you say that. I say barber. Okay, I'm going to see my barber.
I definitely did not see a barber. I saw a stylist.
Okay. Every 4 weeks for you? What are you, what's your routine?
This one was a little longer, but yeah, 4 weeks is probably optimum for me.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I wish I had the pocketbook and the time to go every 2 weeks. If you go every 2 weeks, you basically look like you have a fresh haircut at all times. I think that would be ideal. Yeah. But that's expensive, and it's also a lot of time. So two things that are not on my side. But Jerry, let's jump into women's golf. I'll say this much, man, following along yesterday on the social media accounts and on golfstat.com, and what an impressive showing for them. I'll say this much. This is a program, this is a team, and they really are a program, right? I mean, you think about what they've done, the success they've had over the last several years, it almost becomes an expectation that they make the NCAA championships, and that's a credit straight to Jay Goebel and the program that he's developed and put together here, and just the showing they had out there. I mean, this is never easy. It was windy conditions. We saw another conference school really, really struggle, Oklahoma, and yet Baylor was very impressive on that final day. Your thoughts on them marching to another NCAA championship?
Yeah, I thought it was such an impressive performance. I mean, Jay's teams through the years have had, I would say great performances. I remember the Stanford Regional. It might have been the year that they were the national runner-up. They kind of ran away with it. But yeah, you're right. On a day when most of the teams were just like really struggling to do anything, Baylor shot by far the best round of the day. I guess California had a pretty good day, but yeah, Baylor shoots 6 over for the day. By comparison, so Baylor finishes third overall in that NCAA regional in Las Vegas. Arkansas and Purdue, the teams that finished 1 and 2, they shot 16 over for the day. So that just tells you how bad the conditions were out there. And like you said, Oklahoma, I mean, they were right in the hunt. I think they were a stroke behind Baylor when the day started. They were in 6th place, and they wound up tied for 8th. But they shot 30 over for the day, 33 over for the tournament. So missed it by a bunch. But yeah, Baylor, just a great day. Ashleen Kaur, obviously just fantastic day. Actually got to 6 under at one point for the day, shot 3 under, her career best. I mean, she's just a freshman, but obviously her best in an NCAA postseason round. So Ashleen, she didn't carry the team, but she was a big part of that last round, being able to shoot 3 under in those conditions.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you have 2 players who go top 5. That's pretty daggone good. And so, you look at Ashleen, you talked about it. She shoots 3 under for the tournament, finishes tied for 4th with her teammate, Sarah Hasegawa, also at 3 under. So, yeah, just those 2 leading the way for Baylor. And it's a team that, multiple individuals can lead the way. And that's why this team is dangerous. And really all they have to do is get to nationals. You get to the NCAA championships, anything can happen. And that's exactly what they did. And once again, I think it's a culture thing, right? Jay Goebel, and we have a few other coaches that do this too. They get to the end of the season and they just have this ability to turn on that light switch. I know a lot of people in the college basketball world for many, many years, it's changed a little bit in the transfer portal, but Tom Izzo was one of those coaches that his teams get better as the season goes on. And that's the case with Jay Goebel and his squad. And so this team just continues to do what it takes to move on to the NCAA championship. That's going to be out in California here in 2 weeks. And so the team now gets to kind of rest up a little bit, focus in. And I know they're really proud of that. And that, that course out there in Carlsbad, California, right on the Pacific Ocean. I've seen some photos. I don't know if I'd be, of course, you don't want to go in the Pacific Ocean water. That water is so cold. That's the negative with that area. Out in Florida, you can actually walk into the water. In California, you just have to look at it, but it looks very picturesque, and we're going to see the team here in 2 weeks play out there.
One of the things I'm so impressed by just in this short little segment that we've had, how you got Michigan State basketball connected with college golf. Like, that's impressive. Like, I know your roots, and you're right. I mean, that is Tom Izzo's blueprint. Is he may be struggling all year, and then kind of gets it going. I think back to related to women's golf. I think back to, again, that 2015 team that was a national runner-up. They were like bad that fall. I think they were in the hundreds, something like that, in the rankings, and wound up, number 2 in the nation, and a real legit shot to win it all. So you're right. I mean, that's kind of, again, that's Jay's blueprint. I'm not saying he doesn't care about the fall, but he knows that you win in March, April, May, much more than you do in September, October, November. So he puts a lot more emphasis on the spring semester and really kind of, peaking toward the end. And, I think that's what this team is doing right now is they are definitely peaking. They seem to be playing their best, or they are playing their best right now.
Yeah, and hey, trying to do some storytelling here on the podcast, okay, Jerry. I can weave in a lot of different areas. Not Ben Maller from Fox Sports. He can go all over the place. He hits you with the 4 or 5 words, and then he goes for about 10, 15 minutes and brings all those words in there. So he's a different level. But yes, it's a situation where, hey, no one remembers what happens in September, October. That doesn't really matter. It matters where you finish. And I think, hey, for all sports out there, that's the piece, right? You're into the season. That's where people remember you by. That's where you make your legacy. And I think Jay Goebel, we have one of the best women's golf coaches in all the country. And look no further than this stat: 4 straight NCAA championships for Baylor women's golf. 6 of the last 7 years going to the final destination there. So that's consistency. That's a program. You want to play for a tremendous golf school, a place where you can do some great things, a private school down in the great state of Texas, warm weather, where you can practice year round. This is the spot to do it. And so just really impressive there. And, this team pretty young too, Jerry. I mean, they got a lot of youth on this team. I know they have a couple upperclassmen, but when you think about Ashleen being a freshman, once again, this program is here to stay.
Yeah, Ashleen, obviously the younger sister of Gurleen Kaur, now on the LPGA Tour, doing really well. All-American here at Baylor, and Ashleen has definitely followed in her footsteps. And man, what a round she had, because again, horrible conditions. The wind was really bad. And maybe it helps that obviously it gets a little windy here at times. And, so they've played in wind, and I think they were just kind of ready for it, ready for the moment. But that's the thing that's impressive is she's a freshman. She's been here 2 semesters. Now, she was around the program some when Gurleen was here, but she hasn't been at Baylor and certainly not in collegiate golf for very long. And yet she was out there just playing like a champ. Best round of the day. Baylor shot the best round of the day. I think that her and Sarah may have been 2 of either 3 or 4 players that shot under par for that final round. So yeah, Sarah, hats off to Sarah too, because man, you talking about the model of consistency, 3 straight 1 under rounds to shoot 3 under for the tournament. Great tournament for her as well. And you mentioned like you never, or you kind of don't always know who's going to lead this team. I mean, Rosie Belsham has been their number one in the past. Sarah was the number one going into this one. Rosie, did not play well a couple of those rounds, and they still were able to piece it together. That last round, she did not play well, but still scored. But you expect more from her, and I think in the next, in the NCAA national championships, I think Rosie will play better because she's been through this. She kind of knows what it takes. And that would be a huge deal, Justin. I know that's got to be the goal now. You've made it to nationals. Now make it through the first 3 rounds. They have a cut after the first 3 rounds, and then you want to make it into match play. Top 8 into match play. So right now, that's the women's goal, is to get to match play and see what you can do. Because, obviously the 15 team had a great run. But, this team is capable of that, because I think this is I think this potentially could be a really good match play team.
Yeah, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it for 2 weeks from now to watch it and kind of follow it. And yeah, and the 5 member lineup for this team right now, you got a freshman, sophomore, 2 juniors, and a senior, and so there's a good balance throughout the lineup there. And so just excited to see how this shakes out these next couple of weeks for women's golf. And 3 teams from the Big 12 made the final 30 in the nationals there. And of course, men's golf, they get underway next week as they try to match the women and also get to the NCAA Championships. They begin early next week in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. We'll be following that as well. Also this weekend, a big series, Jerry. Baylor baseball heads to Norman, Oklahoma for the first place Big 12 Oklahoma Sooners. And this is a team that's been really, really hot, and Baylor in need of a win. This march down right now. They're 11th place in the Big 12. They need to be top 10 to make the Big 12 tournament, and they're right on the bubble there. And a win or 2 would do them wonders this weekend in Norman.
Yeah, it's crazy that Oklahoma is the team that's top of the standings, because I mean, if you look at their non-conference, they weren't that great. They were barely over 500 in non-conference, and have just really turned it on in conference. They have a 3-game lead. That's the thing. I mean, and I don't think they will, but I mean, with that much of a cushion, maybe you relax a little bit. I don't think they will. I think they'll get through this weekend, and they're going to try to clinch this weekend. And maybe they only need a game or 2. So, but Baylor, what an opportunity, with 6 conference games left. You're playing the number 1 team in the conference, a top 20 team nationally, and you've really got a chance to kind of make your mark for this team, if you will, for this season. They've got a chance to do something special this weekend. Things haven't gone well lately in conference play. But this is a team that, if we look back, they won a series against a Tech team that's pretty good. They've won 3 series, I believe, Justin, and man, what a win or 2 would do for this team, going into that last weekend against UCF here at home. That would be huge, kind of a feather in their cap, but also a big boost to try to get into the Big 12 tournament with a strong finish here down the stretch.
These end of the season runs, it's a fun time, right? Do or die, survive in advance. You get to see, kind of a put up, shut up situation, pretenders, contenders, kind of see where you're at, with everybody in the Big 12. And so situation with Oklahoma at 18-6 right now, they're right on the bubble of hosting. They're a top 20 team, and they're 17th in the RPI. So they need wins. They need to continue to win. They cannot afford on their end to lose a series, and may need a sweep, right, to move into that top 16 to be able to host regionals. So a lot on the line for them. As you said, Jerry, they could clinch this weekend with the right teams losing. So we'll see what happens for their sake. But obviously our focus is on Baylor and hoping that we can get at least 1 win. It starts tonight in Mason Marriott. That's the key, right? If you can get the first one, man, you feel like, what a relief, if you can get that win. Right now, they're trying to snap a 8-game losing streak in the Big 12 conference. And so need that win in a bad way. And tonight would be a great time to deliver it.
Yeah, and I think back to just a week ago when Mason, I thought he pitched unbelievably well against TCU. He really gave you a chance to win, career long 8 innings. It's 2-1 game going into the ninth. So he gave you a chance, and that's what you expect from him. That's what you expect from your Friday night guy. He struggled the week before, but this last week was more like Mason Marriott, more what we've grown to expect from him. He's become a really a Friday night guy that you can rely on, and that's what you want in that opening game, is a guy that you can pretty much rely on. Hey, he's going to go 6-7 innings. He's going to keep you in the game. He's going to make it, it's still going to be a fairly low scoring game, hopefully. And that's what Mason can do for you. If he's on, this could be a really good, really great game tonight, because he's very capable of, putting in one of those performances that kind of carries the team. Hopefully you build a little bit on that Tarleton State game from the other night, where the offense kind of came alive, and you kind of strung together a bunch of pitchers just to get through the game. But 11-4 win over Tarleton. Hopefully that does build a little confidence going into this week, and they can carry that on. And you're right, Justin. I think the key is win one. If you can win two, I think you put yourself in a great position. But if you win one, I think you survive, and you still have a chance to make the Big 12 tournament.
Win one and you live to see another day. That's what you were looking for here. Just continue to march on, and we'll go we'll finish out the podcast with those scenarios. I know we talked about it about a week ago, but wanted to hit you with those. But once again, Mason Marriott, though, on the season, solid season for him. 5.01 ERA, 3-5 wins-loss record, and that could have been switched. Sometimes a pitcher is only as good as its offense or defense behind them, and sometimes they're a bit of unlucky play in some cases. But 12 starts in the season, and nearly 59.1 in a third innings on the season for him. 59 strikeouts to just 29 walks. So 2-to-1 ratio there. Has had a really solid season for this team. And so needing a good effort for number 24 this weekend. 6:30 is tonight's matchup on Big 12 Now on ESPN Plus. 4 o'clock on Saturday and 2 o'clock on Sunday. Always have to pay attention to the weather, though. Those games get tweaked some. Moved up an hour, back an hour, all sorts of fun there. But yes, a situation where we look, and really the two teams to keep an eye on for all the Baylor fans out there, UCF and Texas Tech. There are scenarios where other teams could fall, but many of those other teams would have to lose lose all their games. So that's unlikely. So really what you're looking at is UCF and Texas Tech. UCF, they're 11-12, Jerry. They host Texas this weekend. Texas, as we know, a really solid team, tied for second in the Big 12 Conference. And then next weekend, we got UCF here at home to finish out the season. And that's senior day and all those festivities. So it's a good opportunity next weekend against UCF. You want to play against the teams that you would have to jump. And so that's a great opportunity where, you win a game or two this weekend, then you can control your own destiny. The team, though, to really watch is Texas Tech. Texas Tech right now, they've lost 6 straight Big 12 Conference games, and they're heading on the road, and they head up to Stillwater and Oklahoma State. Really solid team, top 20 team there. And so if Texas Tech was swept this weekend, if they were swept, they would drop from 12-15 to 12-18, which then you look at Baylor and you go back to what happened a couple months ago. Baylor won that series against Texas Tech, so they own the tiebreaker. If Texas Tech was swept and Baylor won 3 of their final 6 games, they would make the Big 12 tournament. So that's the easiest one on paper, but really it's Texas Tech, it's UCF, it's scoreboard watching. We're fans this weekend only of Texas and also Oklahoma State, hoping those two teams do some work on UCF and Texas Tech.
I saw how hard that was for you to say. I mean, it struggled to get that out of your mouth. That fan of Texas. Whoa, what? But yeah, you're right. I think you are. I think you're a fan of Texas baseball. I think you're a fan of Oklahoma State baseball. So those are key ones to take a look at. You wish you weren't in this position, Justin, but it's been that kind of season where, you've lost a lot of players. You've struggled to kind of piece some things together. They were on a good run there fairly early, or earlier in conference at 9-7. But that losing streak has kind of, put them with their backs against the wall. But, let's see how they respond this weekend. That's what I want to see. Yes, I'm scoreboard watching, but I want to see how Baylor responds. Do they, how important is it for them? Now, again, they're playing a top 20 team. That's not easy. But I've seen this team play really well at times this year. So I think they'll be competitive, and we've talked about it, ad nauseum, but if you can just get one, you can really kind of keep your head above water and really give yourself a chance. So that's kind of what I'm looking for this weekend, is to see their response. Yeah, the scoreboard watching, that will keep you in it as well. But I want Baylor to take care of what they can take care of as well.
Now, of course, for the team, they do not. If you're a player, no scoreboard watching for you. You don't need to do that. When you're 18 to 22, you're different in that case. If you're a 35-year-old big leaguer, you can scoreboard watch, and you got 13 years of experience of dealing with that, so you can kind of put it to the side. But yes, take care of what you can control, and you got to worry about day to day. And so Oklahoma is a plenty good enough team leading the conference right now. All focus for them needs to be on the game ahead tonight. But as far as fans, we need a scoreboard watch. There's a major difference, Jerry, between a fan and a player. The fans absolutely scoreboard watch. And as I said, this weekend only. Next weekend, you can continue to root against those certain teams there. So, it's going to be a lot of fun. I just like these. This is competition, right? This is right in front of you. Oklahoma has a lot to play for, trying to lock up the championship, trying to host a regional. Baylor trying to make it in the Big 12 tournament. You put these two teams together, you duke it out, you watch it on Big 12 now on ESPN Plus, and that's about as good as it gets.
Let's go. I'm ready now, Justin. You got me fired up. I'm ready to watch some baseball. I'm ready for us to sweep the Sooners, go into next weekend, sweep UCF, make the Big 12 tournament, and then see what we can do in Arlington. Yes, I'm ready. Let's go.
Where was this energy about a month ago?
All year. Like I know you've been waiting for me. You were really wanting it during basketball season, and I just, I could never rise to your level, but now I'm pumped. I'm ready for baseball to have a really strong finish and kind of build some momentum and just get to postseason play. Just get to that Big 12 tournament and see what you can do.
All right, that'll do it for today's edition of Inside Baylor Sports, a Sport and Story production. Thanks for listening. For Jerry Hill, I'm Justin Hoff. Have a great Friday, and Sick 'em Bears.
Sick 'em Bears.